Okay, here we have the Google Nexus 7 made by Asus. I'm just going to open this, and the best way I've found to do this is to apply very little pressure indeed. So the outer sleeve is just pulled off, and then you have the glossy cardboard outer. This box is then jet black, front, top and bottom. And on the very bottom, what you have here, and I'm going to angle it in the light so you can see this, you've got a piece of tape on the right and a piece of tape here on the left. And what I recommend you get is a craft knife, and you just gently and gingerly, carefully cut the tape in such a way that you can now free the lid, turn it back on the right way up, and just again applying as little pressure as possible, lift the lid, and underneath, straight away, you've got the Nexus 7 unit. Now the Nexus 7 unit has a really nice tab here, so it's inviting. It's got little white arrows you can see there. If you lift that up, you've immediately got the Nexus 7 tablet in your hand. Underneath here you've got the rest of the box, and in there is the charger and some of the leads and etc. And the Nexus 7 itself is covered all the way around, front, back and sides, with this protective anti-scratch kind of protector, which is also acts as the tab to lift it out of the box. Now it does actually come with a bit of charge, so I'm going to just pop it back in this box so you can see it power on. So already I've got the Google logo coming up. Try not this time to get the reflection. And reassuringly, you've got the Google logo come up, and then you get the 4 coloured cross as Android boots up. And here you have the first signs of 4.1 Jelly Bean. So this is the first unit I've seen with Jelly Bean, and immediately I've got the welcome screen. Now it's of course muted and dull because I've still got it in the cover, so let's not think about the screen view at the moment. I'm going to unwrap this completely, but it's just reassuring to know that before you have to unwrap anything, so before you invalidate any kind of unpackaging warranties etc., if the unit arrives completely dead, you get a complete little simple test. I can have a quick view of the screen, see there's no obvious dead pixels etc. I'm going to turn the unit off. I'm just going to quickly show you this. So you press the actual power button, it's given me the option to power off, and even through this wrap, power off touch screen works cleanly. Yes, I want to power it off, and it's now powering down. I'm going to just keep with it until it actually shuts down so you can see how long that takes. This is the 8 gig version, by the way, in case you're wondering, but I can't believe it's going to take any longer or less, more or less time with the different versions. And there you have the Google Nexus 7. Okay, so now what's in the box? You've got this very visible tag at the front here that you can easily lift to get the Google Nexus 7 out of the box. I'm just going to pop that down to the side there just 1 minute, as I then turn my attention to the remaining part of the box itself. Okay, so you've got a very tempting cut insert here, which I'm going to just hook my finger into. That allows me to drag out a small little box. And that's pretty much it. I've got an empty inside box there, so I'm just going to slide that right out of shot here and bring this back in shot. Now this is a curious little box, and you actually need to open it both sides, and I should explain why in a minute. So on one side you've got yourself part of the charger. We'll go through that in a bit more detail. You've got a USB, micro USB lead. You've got a warranty card and quick start guide. Again, a couple of little printed documents, pop that there, and that's it for this side. And the reason you have to open the other side is because the US, UK and or Europe plug adapter for this charger actually is tucked in on the other side, so it's got a little cardboard side on here. So if I put that back in and shut that lid, you'll see what I mean. You actually can't see through there because there's actually part of the box design and structure, there's actually a cardboard insert preventing me from getting it out that side. So absolutely you need to open both sides. And in here, of course, I ordered this for use in the UK. I've absolutely got now the normal traditional 3-pin plug, as is needed in the UK, which, as is always the case in these chargers, I'm going to put those bags in the box, keep this place a little bit tidy. So I've got a very simple system here where I can slide, and I'm going to just quickly do this, and there we go. So I've now got myself a UK Asus branded USB charger for the Google Nexus 7. This lead, again, it's not a sealed bag, nice length, not too short, not too long. I'm going to unwrap it in a bit. There's actually plastic covers on all the black plastic tags on both the USB and the micro USB end, and this is also branded ASUS ASUS on there, and it's also got a part number barcode which I'll be ripping off, etc. as well. So here you have all the parts inside the box. You've got the tablet itself, and just make sure everything's in shot. You've got the power adapter, which was in two parts. You've got the necessary USB lead. This is a small box that was inside the larger base box, which with the bags I can now pop away to tidy up. And if I just do that now, there we have all the parts inside the box. Okay, I'm now going to literally unwrap the Google Nexus 7, and I'm going to follow the lead that they've set with the tab, and I can feel there's some sticky points here that are just very nicely peeling undone. And I'm now going to just feel, and yeah, certainly echoing the first flap coming off, the other side's coming off now, and suddenly in my hand I have the Google Nexus 7. I'm going to take good care of this just in case there's an issue, but I'm going to pop that out of shot now because that's so not the important thing here. Okay, immediately, and before I even turn this on again, this feels really great in my hands. Now I've got quite large hands, so don't be kidding yourself that everyone's going to be able to hold it and have their fingers curl around like this. It certainly is a really decent size, and the shape is actually my first impression. So although it's my fingers that are getting all this this view and opinion, yeah, this feels really nice. So it's easy to pick up. Two-handed, one-handed. It's got must have a really nice curved bevel. I'm knocking my box around here already. Let's have a little look at that side on. I've got a bit of shade going on there, so let's try and lift it off the table to get a little bit of light. And yeah, you've got a really nice curl here, and that works really well. Okay, the back, I'm not going to say it's rubberized. It's got a really nice kind of soft feel to it. It's grippy, not slidey at all. Doesn't feel cheap. That feels really, really nice. It's got miniature kind of pinprick kind of patination going on in there, and I'm going to angle this again carefully in the light so you can see that you've got a slightly, very subtly recessed, all lowercase as is the logo, the Nexus logo. Nothing saying that it's the Nexus 7 on the back of here, and ASUS's logo here. Looks like I've got another peelable piece of plastic down here, so I'm just going to take that off. Not sure why that was there. Oh, I see now. So looking at it, I can see I've got the CE mark as well as my serial number. So okay, so that's an interesting place to put it. So I'm going to actually stick that back onto this bag because it's a useful thing to keep it. It's still slightly sticky. So that sticky point was just below where the speaker grill is. So keep an eye out for that. You might want to peel and keep that, and that's your serial number, which should also be echoed on the base of the box. Absolutely. So yeah, you don't want to lose that. Okay, here we have the Google Nexus 7. I'm going to do a quick 360-degree tour of the actual unit. You've got toughened glass on the front here. You've got these rather mysterious 4 circular copper or gold recess points here on the very bottom left, possibly for some dock, etc. Not sure what these are for yet. On the very bottom of the unit, you've got in the centre a micro USB. We'll come back to that, and a very angled headphone socket here. On the right hand side, on the upper part, you have a single large rocker. These do feel nice, very solid to feel, very good, similar kind of very solid, hard but rubbery, slippy, non-slippy, sorry, grippy is the word I meant to say. Buttons, this is volume down and up, and the top one is the power, and nothing at all on the top. And going to the front, you have here the single front mounted 1.2 megapixel camera. That's only really decent enough for Skyping, video calling, video conferencing, etc., which is absolutely fine. On the very top, on the back, so we're now on the back of the unit, there's a pinhole here, and that pinhole is a rear facing microphone. and if I turn the unit over and I'm careful the way I spin, so along the side, not on the actual silver itself now, so this is where those four slightly mysterious copper connectors are that are recessed. If I angle this, oops, I'm not doing this too well, there we go. Again, there's another pinhole here on the left, which I guess could be called the front, or depends where your fingers are, I guess, but it certainly means that this unit is going to have a microphone uncovered, even if your hand left or right-handed, which I think is quite a nice idea. So it's orientation proof and left-right handed proof, which I think that's a really nice touch, having two microphones on a unit this size. Okay, again, the feel is absolutely fantastic. This is, I can't say rubber, but it's so much better than rubber. It's both hard, feels tough, but feels really kind of warm to the touch, doesn't seem to get cold. This unit is not going to be sliding around easily. This is going to be brilliant. You're going to love this, that it's not going to slide and fall and slip and slide all over the place like some of the really smooth, slim, sleek aluminium units do. This is really nice to hold in hand. Like I say, nothing cold about it at all. Nothing clammy either. Feels really good in my hand. I've got rather large hands, so not everybody's going to be able to hold their fingers and thumbs around here. The unit has got reasonable sized bezels. There's a certain amount of room around the sides, especially in the landscape mode, for placement of thumbs, etc. And if you're lucky enough, like me, you've got large hands, you're going to be hold it quite neatly. And you know, I'm just gripping on the sides, and it's really comfy. And this is not going to be falling out of my hands. This is really comfy, and I really like this really silly, simple detail that I keep talking about. I really like the ease of picking it up. It's really good. Okay, I want to talk about the micro USB and the headphone socket in a little bit more detail. Because they are on this really nice kind of tapered, curved edge, they're rather strange the way that the access feels. So I'm going to just use their supplied micro USB connector. I'm going to plop that in, he says. Now, absolutely from the front, as you can see, nice snug fit. From the rear, there's quite a bit of exposed connector there. And I'm going to just show this side on now, if I can flip the cable out of the way. It just feels a little bit awkward. I'm surprised that, as this is the cable that was supplied with the Nexus 7, that Asus didn't supply a similarly curved end to their micro USB connector. So if this is bespoke for the unit, that's not particularly bespoke, and certainly could be better. Okay, so now the next thing I wouldn't expect anybody to do any bespoking on is the headphone socket. Now this one is actually, again, within the curved unit. So as you can see, it's right down there. However, it's the beginnings of the circle, the hole, is actually flush with the very edge of the unit. So what I'm going to do now is just plug in a pair of my Bose headphones. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll show it to you from the front. So absolutely looks fine, and I had to really push that in to get that third clip. Absolutely looks fine, really solid, sturdy connection. And again, edge on, you can see from the back especially that you've got quite a bit of exposed cable connector, sorry. And I don't think this is a real concern, but if you've got anything that could earth, if you have got tinfoil or chewing gum wrapper in your pocket and something is going to touch that, that's not so clever. So you want to keep an eye out for that. I'm sure that's not going to cause any problems at all in use. This isn't going to go in someone's pocket after all. Even my large pockets, I'm not going to be putting that in there like a mobile phone that's going to go in a bag, etc. And if I am walking around listening to music, that's the only thing I've got a little bit careful of, that I've got nothing metallic that can interfere with the sound quality. I'm just going to unplug that and rest that to the side. I'm going to just quickly talk about charging the unit. So this is the supplied USB micro USB connector, and I'm going to just quickly unwrap the two bits of tape that are covering the connector. That's a little bit sticky. I'm just going to get that outside and keep it with the other bits of tape. The other side has a barcode on it, but again, it's just the same. It unwraps, and I guess that's just the part number. Now that's a nice coily lead. I'd say it's about 1 meter. Now each of the plugs also has a little bit of plastic protecting the shiny black plastic underneath. For my purposes, I don't need to unwrap them just yet. I'm going to plug my UK charger, and for those of you that are interested, this outputs 5 amps, no, 2 amps 5 volts, do apologise. It's very difficult to read, but it's actually printed in very light grey on the very bottom of the transformer, so you need to make sure that if you aren't going to use their transformer, that you've got something of a good equivalence. Okay, so obviously ASUS label up, normal USB label up, etc. I'm going to just plug this in to power supply I've got here on the table, and just so you can see what happens when I plug it in, I'm going to just do that in front of you. Now this unit isn't powered on at the moment, and let's just see. Okay, immediately it's illuminated a brief battery symbol, had initially a little electrical spark type symbol, and now it's got a very simple, one might say almost retro kind of battery icon that showed it was charging, and within a few seconds, as you can see, that's now gone away, and I think the unit's going to just sit there quite happily charging for a while.